Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on Mindset Magic, where we share our ideas, our tips, tools, and lots of strategies on all things mindset, emotions, and how to really thrive and live your ultimate life. My name is Christy Roberts. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a mindset and results coach. I'm also founder of Creating Change. And it's my absolute pleasure and delight to introduce my gorgeous co-host, Kaz Sandman, who's a transformational coach from Chaos to Calm Healing. Hey, Kaz. And Alia Sligsky, accredited nutritionist and personal health coach from The Personal Health Coach. Hi, Alia.
Hey, Christy. Hey, Kaz.
Welcome, ladies. How are we today?
Awesome.
Great. So during each episode of Mindset Magic, we turn our attention to a different topic. And this week, we are delving into how to improve your inner health. Now, this is an awesome follow-on from last week's session, which we talked about fitness motivation strategies, which is sort of the external, the exercise and energy. Now we're going inside and looking deep within. So I'm confident that every single person watching will gain value from this conversation today. So stay tuned. As I said, the topic of inner health, it's a big one, and we will be covering many components today, including we'll be looking at gut health, we'll be looking at detox and cleansing, we'll be talking about how emotions affect your health and so much more, chemicals and poisons and pesticides and all sorts of stuff. So stay tuned, you're in for lots of valuable information. And just a quick reminder as well. So for those of you watching, please comment, please share, please like and drop us an emoji and encourage us and show us the value that you're getting from these sessions. So also if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below or reach out to us because we all have a wealth of experience here between us and very happy to be taking questions. So ladies, I'd like to start today's conversation by talking about our thoughts and just any personal experiences that you'd like to share in regards to inner health. So Aaliyah, I'll come to you first. I'm really keen to hear your thoughts on the topic.
It is an excellent topic. I've worked with a lot of clients in terms of inner health and external health. The physical as well as the internal is just equally as important because if you feel good, you look good. And a lot of people will say also, if you look good, you feel good. So with gut health, it is something that I've worked with a lot of clients to help them lose weight. And I can tell, it's just done wonders to help them to really make a change for the long run. So, that helping them to shift their gut health as well as helping them to exercise and change habits. It's done wonders because as we know, gut health is important because it is like our second brain, and it helps us to feel good, to concentrate really well at work. It can really clear up our skin. It can help with all sorts of issues with our gut, with bloating, and it's certainly something that I've worked with myself and a lot of clients, and it's, I think, a really important topic.
Yeah, and I think being an accredited nutritionist, like the value that you'll add to today's conversation, I'm pretty keen to hear what you have to say. Did you have any personal experiences that you wanted to share today along those lines?
Yeah, like I always go by what I preach. So I've created smoothies that are good for the gut bacteria. They're good for gut because they help encourage the growth of good bacteria, and they also help discourage the growth of bad bacteria by being complete in nutrition, which means lots of fiber, good fats, protein, some carb, and there's no preservatives. They're all clean ingredients and they're low in sugar. So the mistake a lot of us make is, and myself included, is to make smoothies and have breakfasts where there's a lot of sugar. And, if it's someone like me who has a lot going on in their lives and really needs to be clean in their eating, that low sugar approach and more nutrition sort of smoothie really does work. So yeah, I've tried cutting down on sugars in my breakfasts and increasing my nutrition, and I've been able to I feel lighter. My skin it had improved as soon as I started with the smoothies, and I've been able to maintain my weight really well, and bloating as well. So yeah, it works for me. So I can encourage it to others.
Yeah, and I guess as a new mum, we were saying earlier, Oliver's 4 weeks old.
Yeah, he's 4 weeks old.
So important. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important to be on top of my nutrition now. I'm eating so many more calories being a mum breastfeeding. So we can burn quite a few more calories, 300, 500 calories extra a day. So it's important to, to listen to what your body wants from treat foods, but also what it needs from nutrition as well.
Yeah. And Kaz, did you have any personal experiences you'd like to share, or what are your thoughts on today's topic of inner health?
I am passionate about this topic because I have a lot of personal experience, but I also have experience from working in a weight loss centre. So Alia, firstly, I want to say, yes, please, we'll all have that recipe for the smoothie. Thank you. So from personal experience, I'm someone who has a lot of issues with gut health. And, my friends, if I'm coming around for dinner, they're like, oh, well, she can't eat anything. What can she eat? So I've done a lot of gut cleanses and, starting to eat really, really clean to make sure that I do look after my body. But I think the thing that really struck out for me with regard to health was when I had my kids 25 years ago. I really started to realize, oh, wow, this is a super happy, exciting time, but it's also a really scary time because you're responsible for another human life. So can you ladies relate to that? You have your kids and you're like, it's not just about me.
Yeah.
So I really started to look at foods and products that affected my emotions and my body in negative ways. So things like coffee and tea. Coffee and tea make me cry. I love them, but they make me cry every single time. I can't drink them. Everyone thinks I'm so pathetic because I'm a soy decaf kind of girl. Food colorings send me batty, and then I noticed they sent my kids batty. So any lollies or anything that has food coloring in it, it makes us buzzy, makes us get the sugar high. Dairy milk chocolate bloats my tummy, makes me itchy. Things like alcohol with preservatives in it. Buy me alcohol with preservatives in it, one sip and I'm tipsy already and I'm an itchy, twitchy mess. Perfume, the one thing that we all love to wear, the thing that makes us feel feminine. It sends my heart into crazy palpitations. It makes me angry. It makes me teary. Can't wear it. And cleaning products with ammonia and bleach, things like that, they really affected me. So I wanted to then look at things that might be affecting the kids as well. Sour lollies. People want to buy your kids treats and they buy them lollies. Sour lollies sent my kids, especially one of them, off the tree. Chocolate, even hot chocolate, like in a drink, really aggressive and defiant behaviors. And I was like, oh, this is harsh, even hot chocolate. Chicken salt, which, kids love chicken salt on their chippies. Not my kids, not allowed to have it. Well, maybe they do now that they're adults, but anything with MSG in it and anything with color. So I did some research with, it's called the Environmental Working Group, and it's a website. So if anyone wanting to look at it, it is American, but it has a lot of comparative and factual information on it, with regard to toxins that are in your foods and toxins that are in your personal home-based products.
What was that
So
site again?
it's called the Environmental Working Group, EWG, and they have a list of unacceptable ingredients that you can download so that you're empowered to make safe choices. And then I started to study chemicals in our foods from that site, and I'll just give you a quick outline of the dirty dozen. So strawberries, 1/3 of all conventional strawberry samples contain 10 or more pesticides. Spinach, 97% of conventional samples contain pesticide residues, including neurotoxic insecticide. Nectarines, 94% of them contain 2 or more pesticides. Apples, 90% had detectable pesticide residues, and 80% of apples tested contained a pesticide that's banned in Europe. And okay, so this is in Australia, but don't be thinking that Australian food is all perfect either. I'm just giving you the heads up on, the types of foods that are more susceptible to holding on to and absorbing chemicals. Grapes, more than 95% were positive to pesticides. Peaches, 99% had detectable pesticides. Cherries, an average of 5 pesticides were detected in cherries, and 30% had iprodione, which is a pesticide that may cause cancers.
Wow.
Pears had them, tomatoes, celery, potatoes, bell peppers, chilies. So all of these foods can contain residues of chemicals, and this really, really made me devastated that I was trying to feed my kids healthy foods, thinking I was giving them fruit and veggies. And how do we know that they don't have these pesticides in them? So I started to try and shop consciously, and then gradually we started to make the switch to natural products or buying the organic products. But that's way trickier than you ever imagined, because what's on the label doesn't necessarily give you a true indication of what's in the packet. So I learned that some countries, and including Australia, a product only has to have just one organic ingredient to be able to label that product organic.
Wow.
That is so deceptive. So I learned that if you want 100% organic foods, you need to look for the ACO certified organic logo, which is like a little green swirl with 3 little leaves at the top of it, and it's in a white box outlined with a little green line. So yeah, I guess you can say I am mega passionate about trying to reduce our toxic imprint on the earth, but also trying to reduce the toxicity in our bodies from our skin care, baby care, personal care, fragrances, and our food.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It was just like, wow.
I'm sorry, I get really excited. I've actually got way more. I've got way more, and I've even got examples of what the chemicals are and what products they're in. But I could go on.
Maybe, it'd be worth you doing a webinar on that, Kaz. I think that might get quite a bit of interest. I think for me, like you, Kaz, my journey with all this stuff started when I was 20, so 30 years ago, where I'd actually reached a point where I had no smell, no taste, like zero, no smell, no taste, and constant headaches.
Mm.
And I'd go to a doctor, and they used to give me this Beckinase spray, which was a nasal spray to open the cavity. And that would help with the headaches, and it would help somewhat with the smell and the taste. Now, I was on that spray for 10 years, and every time, and I thought I was really good because I was supposed to have like 3 sprays twice a day, and all this, and I'd just do 1 spray in the morning. So I kind of moderated how much I took because I didn't want to put chemicals in my body. Now, I was on that spray for 10 years, and every time it ran out, the headaches would come back. I'd have to go back to the doctor. They'd just write me a prescription, off I go again. At no point in that 10 years did any doctor, and I saw a lot of them because I lived in different states even, tell me that there were different options for me. And it was about 10 years later, so I was probably about 30, and I did my back and I went to see a chiropractor. And as it turned out, it was the Migraine Headache Centre. This was in St Kilda Road. Back then I was working in St Kilda Road at the time. And I'm in there getting my back treated, and I'm like, oh, by the way, I get headaches. And he's like, oh. And so anyway, so I went back and saw him the next week, and we started diving into the headaches and all the different, there's so many different reasons people can get headaches. And I'm not going to go into that today, but to cut a long story short, I did the food diary. So for me, my neck was out. So there was, spinal manipulation. And in addition, I was reacting to foods. And the foods that I was reacting to was chocolate, alcohol, orange juice, oranges, tomatoes, and cheese.
Yes.
And it wasn't, and this is the trick. And so this is the thing. A lot of us don't notice this stuff. And sneezing, I would sneeze like 30 times. 2 drinks and I'm sneezing and my nose is blocked. To have no smell or taste for a really long time, like that's a big thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I started playing, and I worked out that I wasn't allergic to anything. I had intolerances. So it was like, you think of a threshold. This is my threshold. And if I could have stuff and I could stay under my threshold and still eat and, still smell and taste and not get headaches. But if I had too much and I tipped over, I just had to bring it back down. So then it became a management thing. That went on for years. And so today I don't have those issues because I manage it. Another thing where I've noticed inner health that's affected me is grief. So deep emotions, and we're all self-directed healers. So you'll understand this. And I may have talked about this in previous episodes, but I think it's worth mentioning. Our inner health, when our emotions are trapped inside us and we're not expressing them, like in the instance when my son passed, I was having heart palpitations. And so this is actual, there's scientific evidence that shows that in traumatic severe shock, your body, your heart can change the way it pumps the blood through your body. And it's called, I've got it written here, Takotsubo-cardiomyopathy. And so what actually happened, and it's a little bit like a heart attack, it's a little bit different, but your heart beats erratically. Your heart is pumping the blood a bit harder as it goes through. But I had other symptoms. I got toothaches, I got ulcers because I was clenching my jaw. I had digestive issues. I had tightness in my chest. I ended up with sore throats. This is all from emotion. All from emotion. And so that moving the emotions through my body, through the self-directed healing, has helped me with a lot of that stuff. And Kaz, as you were talking about your kids, it took me back to my son. So when Aaron was in kindergarten, I don't know what happened, but I mean, he always reacted to foods. And so I always struggled with family trying to give him lollies because kids love lollies. And I always battled with that because they didn't have to deal with the behavior that was a direct result from the preservatives. Anyway, he's at kinder and the teacher pulled me aside one day and she's gone, something's going on with Aaron. We need to look at his diet. And she was talking, lots of things. She's saying, have you changed toothpaste? Have you changed margarine, butter? What is he eating? And you know what it was? We found it. It was mandarins. Mandarins. Because wow. You know how we found it? He was in primary school, and this is how we tested it one day. We didn't know, but his dad loved mandarins, and I had some in the bowl, and he, cheekily took them. He knew he wasn't supposed to, but he loved them. And anyway, and he's bouncing off the roof. I'm like, what have you eaten? He'd been into the mandarins. I sent him to school the next day. It was Monday morning assembly, and he's sitting in this assembly. Advance Australia, like embarrassing. He was off his tree, absolutely off his tree. At the end of the day, they come out. He was in prep. They come out, and Mrs. Richards, the teacher, pulled me aside, and she's gone, because I said to her at the beginning of the day, oh, look, he's had mandarins. He seems okay. At the end of the day, she's gone, Aaron, don't ever eat another mandarin again. Like, she'd had the day. And it just goes to show how things can affect our body. So it's, yes, there's a lot of really natural, great foods. And I think our message isn't don't eat natural foods, because it absolutely is eat natural foods. Yeah. But be aware of how they affect your body, because we're all unique and each and every one of us is going to respond differently. So that's sort of some of my experience, in this area. And I think I'm not an accredited nutritionist, so I do need to say that out front. But I think in the personal coaching journey and looking at how you can live your ultimate life and human potential and behavior and mindset, this stuff crosses my path all the time. So a lot of the stuff I'm sharing today is what I've come across in my travels with coaching and things that I've tried myself to be true and found to be quite good. So yeah, I've got lots of stuff to share as we go through. So what do you reckon? So Alia, so let's talk about, what kind of strategies or ideas can you share when it comes to inner health, that you've worked and that work for your clients?
Yeah, just on what you were saying about emotions, I think a lot of people, like nutritionists, we don't talk about emotions. We look at people's food diaries. We look at what people eat. We look at calories, and that's really important. It's important to be healthy at a cellular level, right? A lot of us go on diets and mind you, like, I remember as a child going to a naturopath and also being allergic to oranges, yeast, milk, wheat, everything. So I went on a diet for a month, and apparently I had ulcers or something like that. And I mean, I think that went away, but like now I can have oranges and dairy, and things have changed, so sometimes, so it's really important to listen to your body and you'll be surprised what doesn't work with your body, and that's okay. But there's definitely other foods that are nourishing to have. So things can change with nutrition and our needs, from season to season, from different life stages we go through, and emotions are definitely important when it comes to inner health. I, for example, had 3 eating disorders because of my emotions. I felt like I couldn't have control in my teenage years. With my emotions, I didn't know how to deal with them, so I dealt with it through through not eating and bulimia, and that was not allowing my body to have nutrition, so that it can really affect, if you don't overcome your emotions. So if you're an emotional eater, some people don't even realize they're emotional eaters. They binge eat. That's a disorder, actually. It's been recognized when we overeat. Binge eating is seen as a disorder, and we're not always overeating on salmon or walnuts or spinach. So it's just, so my tip is be real. Be real about what you're putting in your mouth. And you can do a food diary and an emotional diary. So there's 3 dimensions to this food diary. It's what you eat throughout the day. Fill it out within 20 minutes. So for breakfast, I know you might have just had a coffee and a banana. Write it down. And then what are you feeling? Are you tired? Are you anxious? Maybe you don't feel anything at all, but ask yourself, write it down. And then number 3, how full do you feel? Do you feel like really stuffed? Usually at breakfast, and get in tune with your body, get in tune with how you're feeling, because then when we know what's going on a deeper level, then we can finally learn to shift the nutrition and the behaviors. It's so much easier to change things for good when we look at all three factors of what we're actually eating and how we can add in good nutrition throughout our life. We're always changing. It's a beautiful thing. And, you know, being in tune with how full we feel, being mindful, really enjoying the food and registering this nutritious food, or sometimes the vice foods that we eat. And the emotions that we're having, and being real about that too, because we all feel, we're all humans, whether we're happy, whether we have shame. A lot of us can't label it, and it's up to us to learn to do that. And we can certainly, all three of us can certainly help our clients do that. And that's my tip to anyone who's struggling with really losing weight, with any gut issues. They're struggling, like, it's important to have obviously a specialist helping, and having a test sometimes done for these intolerances, as well as looking at the emotional side of things, which I know self-directed healing and mindset strategies can make a world of difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. You know, that power of that combination of the health and the diet and that nutrition, but also looking at your limiting beliefs and your emotions and that. And the thing is, we don't know what we don't know, and we get into bad patterns of behavior, and that's where having an external person, a coach, can really, really help propel you to get the results you want faster, to help you shift and move and call you out on your stuff.
Yeah, it's enough to have a positive mindset. It's not enough like, oh, you know, I'm doing great, life is good. Like, it's good to be grateful, but if you have issues, like if you have a drug problem, if you have an alcohol problem, if you know, have a eating disorder, or think that you're an emotional eater, that's cool, that's life, but do something about it and see someone who can help you in that area. It's not enough to see a nutritionist or a personal trainer, someone like ourselves who has that additional healing and mindset and transformational coaching, can really help someone change for the better. With, like you said, with belief systems, for example. Like, where do you start with that? Like, you need someone to, like you said, have that perspective, that eagle eye view, that support, give you that safe space to finally go into subconscious mind, go into those areas that we never thought would be possible, that we had, you know, like limiting beliefs of our childhood, etc. So
identify the blocks and clear them, you know, work on them. Thanks.
Yes.
Ali. Awesome. And Kaz, how about yourself? What strategies do you have for yourself and for your clients that you'd like to recommend today?
Well, firstly, I totally agree with Aliyah in the sense that a food diary is something that everyone should do, I believe, because, as she said, when you go through life changes, your hormones will change, everything will change. And when you have children, you do become more susceptible to allergies with food. That's when all of my allergies came on, was when I had kids. But the thing I would like people to take away is start swapping out products. So Ali is working on the inside. I'm going to work on the inside from an allergy sense. So start looking at your products and seeing what chemicals are in them that you can, you know, choose an organic product instead, or something that is made from more natural ingredients. Because there are things like soaps and mouthwash and deodorant that have triclosan in them, and that can make kids be prone to having allergies if they have enough of that in their system. And it bioaccumulates in your fat stores, and it can be found in human breast milk and urine and other samples. So, you know, just start looking at the ingredients in your products. So my thought was, each day that you go shopping, or each week when you go shopping, you can't say throw everything out in your house and start again. It's not
practical,
realistic and not practical. So the first thing I would suggest, though, would be throw away your perfumes, because they have such terrible ingredients in them. They've got over 3,000 chemicals in them, perfumes. So, or 3,000 undisclosed chemicals can be in them. But things like
I've just started on that. I've stopped using perfumes about them. Since I did the Tony Robbins course, I've stopped using the chemicals because I didn't realise how much toxin and poison they put in your body. And I've shifted to essential oil. So I'm just doing a dab of essential oil. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, that's what I was going to say. So start making your own things if you can. So I make my own perfume. Basically, I look up blends and I'll send it to us girls when we all put this post up. But there's an organisation that actually gives you the right amount of drops of each oil. And I'll find that for you and I'll send it through.
Yeah.
What amounts of each oil you can use to stay within the framework to make your own perfume or to put in anything else that you make. So, for example, I make my own deodorant now. It is way more efficient than any natural deodorant I've bought from anywhere else.
Oh, that interests me.
Pardon?
That interests me as well.
Yeah, look, I'll send you some. Because I do sell it. It's really effective. I've got one of the local hairdressers here buys them 10 at a time to sell to people. But I make my own lip balms. I make my own face powder, and I make it out of things like nutmeg and just things that you find in the kitchen. And you know what? Okay, it's not Maybelline, but it's not toxic. It's safe.
Magic. Yeah.
Yes, and I just look normal. So just
glowing. It looks really good.
Yeah.
What are you doing, girls?
Well, I'll find the recipe for that too, and I'll share it so that we've all got that to share with our people. But I really just want you to start looking at ingredients and swapping things out, and where possible, change for an organic brand or a more natural ingredient. Now, mineral makeups and things like that, they can't say they're organic because they're not a living organism, they're mineral. But just go onto that EWG website and have a look for the chemicals that are the most detrimental to your health, and then make sure that your products don't have those in them. That would be my suggestion.
Thank you. That's awesome. I've got a few notes that I'm going to refer to today. I think one thing is to look at our environmental beliefs. So the things that are actually really ingrained in us. And one thing is, we need to eat 3 meals a day. Do we? We have to finish our plates. We're raised to finish our plates. There's a lot of people have issues around that. And I realized that was part of my problem when I was trying to lose weight. I actually struggled because I always served myself too much food and then felt I had to finish my plate. Don't have to finish your plate. You need to get used to knowing when you feel full, which is what, Aaliyah said just before. The whole, meat, vegetables and carbs. So meat, vegetables, and I needed to have either rice, mashed potato or pasta on my plate. Well, no, I actually don't. So, there's studies and a lot of research that shows if you're having meat, you can have meat with vegetables or vegetables with carbs, like not all together for digestive reasons. Milk's good for your bones. Is that one of the best marketing ploys ever? Because milk is actually not good for your bones. There's so much research around this today. And here I am drinking all this milk thinking, I'll never get osteoporosis. No.
We're not baby cows.
Yeah, I know. And so what's good for your bones is impact. So that's why we were talking about my rebounder trampoline last week. People who add salt to everything. How many times have you cooked a meal and there's plenty of salt in there and you serve it? People don't even necessarily taste it and they're adding salt. It's a really bad pattern of behavior. So that's something to look at. So just get really curious about the status quo. That's the point of talking about them. We've talked about food diaries. So I had an app for quite a while. I did it just for 3 months, but the app is called My Symptoms. And I'm sure it's not the only one out there, but there are apps where you literally put in what you eat. You say how you feel, you measure any symptoms that you've got. You measure, when you go to the toilet and all sorts of stuff. And what it does is actually analyzes it all so it can show you. Now, that showed me that apples affected my sleep.
Yeah.
And so there's you get information from that, personalized information from that, because you're putting in your exercise, you're putting in your sleep, you're rating your level of sleep. So there's a lot of data, and it analyzes the data. So they're actually, and this was a long time ago that I did that. So I'm sure there's lots of apps out there now. I've got lots of resources that I'd like to share, because like I said, I'm not an accredited nutritionist myself, but there's so much information out there that's really good. There's a movie called The Earthing Movie. Have you seen that? The Earthing Movie. So that's just on YouTube. And that's a movie about how in our society, we don't touch the earth. So we have runners, we've got rubber in between. And so the earth is actually really good to reduce inflammation in our body. And there's data on this, like it's fascinating. So the Earthing Movie was really good. Heal on Netflix, HEAL, is really good, talking about natural holistic ways to heal your inner self. That Sugar film, if you want to shock about sugar, if you want to learn about sugar, and this one your whole family should watch, you watch That Sugar film. So this is a doco that an Australian guy put together that you'll find. It's got a whole website. So that's free, that Sugar film. There's a really good book called Metaphysical Anatomy, which is this one here that we use, Self-Directed Healing. And this is all about how our emotions affect our physical body and the belief systems behind those emotions. I've just done a 9-day cleanse. There's a guy out there called the Medical Medium. Can't remember his name, Andrew McMillan maybe. But his book is called Cleanse to Heal. It's in the kitchen. I should have had it here. And so he has, so this is literally to detoxify your body. And so I just did this 9-day cleanse. He's famous for his celery juice. So in adding water, lemon juice to your water. So every morning, squeeze, it's half a lemon with 2 glasses of water. And so, yeah, that book's really good, Cleanse to Heal. So much powerful information in there. yummymummykitchen.com, yummymummykitchen.com. If you haven't looked at that, that's a really good website for plant-based recipes. So they've got heaps of Buddha. I went on there for Buddha bowls, but there's so many really lovely recipes on there. It's a really good website. And the other thing is there's all this new technology and products coming out. So I've got a girlfriend who sells ASEA, ASEA. And so this is a cell rejuvenation product. It's a salt-based product where you're actually rejuvenating cell growth and creating new cell growth, which is really, really powerful stuff. So there's a lot of stuff like that coming out in the market. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I do is I have a ionized water filtered jug, and it's from EcoBud. And so this removes the chemicals that are in our water. And so I use that for my drinking water, and then I add the lemon to it as well. And when it comes to drinking water, so you know how we say you need 4 glasses of water a day? It actually depends on your body weight, how much water, because we're all different sizes. So how much water we need is different for different people. So how much water, so there's a formula that I'd like to share, and that formula is half your body weight in ounces. So say for example, I was 70 kilo, which I'm not, but say I was, then 35 kilo is half my body weight. And so I would have to drink 35 ounces of water. So I've done my measurements, and I need to drink 1.2 kilos of water. So for my body weight, 1.2 kilo. My daughter's 10 kilos lighter than me, and she only needs 800 ml. No, she needs a litre. She needed a litre. She needed 4 cups. I needed 5. So that's really powerful. A couple of other tips: meditation for inner health. Slow yourself down, and breathing. So slow yourself down with your breathing as well. So oxygen powerful breathing can oxygenate your body. So if you breathe in, there's a ratio 1-4-2. So say, for example, you breathe in for 1 count, hold it for 4 and out for 2. It's a really good way to oxygenate your body. So if you did this just once a day, and you can multiply that. So it could be 4 breaths, 4 in, hold for 16 and out for 8. So that can really oxygenate your system and your body. And a really good activity for anyone out there watching is to write down what you've eaten in the last 24 hours. So literally stop. You can do it as soon as we finish. Write down what you've eaten in the last 24 hours and just have a look at that and see if you think that's acceptable. What do you reckon?
We'll help you out.
Is that
we'll relate and help you.
Or do you need to make some changes? So, what percentage of your diet is made up of water-based foods? Because a lot of the stuff that we eat, chips and junk, it clogs our system. So we should be eating about 70% water-based foods, just to allow our body to cleanse itself and for things not to get clogged up inside us. So that was a lot of information that I wanted to share. And that's it from me. I'll pass back to you now, Aaliyah. I trust that.
That's
tell you.
holistic.
Yeah.
It's very holistic. Look, it's like I said before, nutrition. Looking at what you eat, you can see inner health in various ways, but it is important to look at the bigger picture, because pesticides, residues. I heard that you can. And the holistic approach. So Kaz, with pesticides, do you wash? I heard that you can wash your vegetables and fruit with baking soda and water or vinegar, or what do you do to sort of decrease the amount of residue on the veggies and fruit? Just a quick one on that.
So we grow a fair bit of our own veggies, and we buy a lot of our when the markets were on, we were buying from the market. So we will buy from the organic places. And we have 2 local places here who deliver organic veggies. But there is a food wash that you can get. I can't remember the name. There's a food wash that you can buy, or they have said that you can use vinegar. Vinegar is supposed to be really good. And I actually had a veggie brush that I brushed my veggies with. But I mean, that's not getting what's on the inside, what's already seeped in through the skin. But you do the best that you can. But buying organic, when it comes to vegetables and things like that, buying organic is key wherever possible.
Yeah.
Cool. And that diet that you did, Christy.
Yes.
How long did you do it for again?
It was the 9-day cleanse, and the book is full of cleanses, but it's also the Cleanse to Heal book has a lot of information about why we need to cleanse, and a lot of data and a lot of research. It's actually an excellent resource. So this was a 9-day cleanse, and he had 3 versions. So there's like the original version. I did the simplified version, which was really tough going because the original version, like, you'd have to be at home. It'd be pretty hard to do a lot of the stuff that you needed to do. But the idea of the 9-day cleanse is it's literally a reboot for your system. You're getting right in and cleaning out right into your liver, because our blood gets thick. And so this is about thinning the blood, moving, getting everything circulating and moving through you again. And the whole point is, there's a whole list of ailments from autoimmune diseases right through to psoriasis that it's really, really good for. A whole lot of physical conditions, how eating can shift them and move them, and you can get good outcomes through your diet.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with a good cleanse. I've watched on Netflix also those shows that you recommended, Christy.
Yeah.
There's one also called Unwell, and there's one season where they talk about water, just drinking water, and it was a pretty cheap retreat to go on because everyone's just drinking water. And they're talking about the pros and cons, like obviously, like that sounds pretty dangerous, but people were swearing upon it. There's obviously some controversy and didn't work for everyone, but it's just amazing what what the body can do when it's relieved of pesticides and other sort of foods that it doesn't agree with. It can actually has more of an opportunity to heal itself. And
this particular cleanse was plant-based, so organic plant-based, and it was very much so no meats, no nuts, no grains, no dairy, there was no pasta, no rice, nothing like that. So it was, for me, because I am not vegetarian, I thought, how am I going to go for 9 days? Do you know, I did not crave meat at all. I was quite full. There's lots of beautiful recipes in the book. And even when I finished, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to go out and get a steak. No, I actually didn't. I didn't have that craving because the way that the diet's designed, it fulfills what your body needs. And if you listen to your body, I didn't need that stuff. So moving forward, I'm not a vegetarian, but I definitely have reduced my meat intake moving forward. There's so many other docos on there as well. Anyway, we better move on it and wind up. But so I just think it's really important to mention, given we're all self-directed healers, that we all work on the premise that feeling is healing. So, it's very relevant when it comes to our inner health. So that's something to be really mindful of as well. And it's something we've touched on a few times. So just before we wind up, I'm wondering if either of you have got anything else that you'd like to add.
No, not at the moment. I'm on about 2% battery, so you're going to lose me in a moment.
I think we've given some good quality content.
Right. Well, if you're still watching, then clearly the episode resonated with you. And I really recommend that you check out our other episodes. So we've got tips for thriving, we've got processing emotions, procrastination and being stuck. And last week we did fitness motivation strategies. So there's a pool of information and resources there for you to draw on. Once again, our names are, I'm Christy Roberts, Mindset and Results Coach from Christy Roberts Coaching and Creating Change. Alia Steglinski is an accredited nutritionist and personal health coach at Personal Health Coach. And we've got the gorgeous Kaz Sandeman here, who's a transformational coach at Chaos to Calm Healing. Now, in addition to us each being self-directed healers, we're all coaches as well. And we're all available for one-to-one coaching conversations. And we do all offer free discovery calls. So if you would like to take this conversation further with any one of us, please reach out. Our details will be wherever this is posted. So it's been an absolute pleasure again, of course. I love these sessions, being here with you all today. And I trust that everyone's gained heaps of value from our time together. So thank you for watching and for spending time with us. So Alia and Kaz, ladies, it's been fantastic holding this space with you once again this week. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your words of experience. Alia, first, how can we get hold of you if we want to? What's your website?
www.personalhealthcoach.com.au.
Yeah, and is there anything that you're doing that you wanted to share with us today?
More than welcome to download the ebook, which has 30 recipes, including the lean green injection smoothie, nutrient injection smoothie. That's in my shop section there at personalhealthcoach.com.au.
Beautiful, love it. And Kaz?
You can find me on Facebook at Chaos to Calm Healing. And I'm still working through my 60 days to a positive mindset with my clients, and anybody wanting to jump in is welcome to jump in. We're on day 44. We didn't do a session today because my little dog damaged himself. So we missed out today, but we'll be back on track tomorrow for day 44.
Lovely, awesome. And you'll find me at Christy Roberts Coaching. So at Christy Roberts Coaching. I'm building my website at the moment. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. So have an amazing day, everyone, and just keep being awesome.
Yes.
Thank you and take care. Bye, everyone.